Disney had an abandoned water park that was left to rot for over 15 years. Abandoned Disney continues with the story of River Country. Perhaps my favorite part of Abandoned Disney, this water park has a crazy story, so let's get into it. When Walt Disney World opened in 1971, it wanted to be more than just a theme park. But you have to remember that Walt Disney World was a very different Disney World than we know today. There really wasn't that much going on. They had one theme park, two resorts, the Contemporary and the Polynesian, one campground, and then the parking lot. So what they realized is that in order to get people to stay for more than just 1 or 2 days, they needed to add more attractions. So within their planning process, they added a few things. Discovery Island, then called Treasure Island, a water park called River Country that was attached to the campground, and the shopping village that we know now today as Disney Springs. With the goal to get people to stay on site, they would go to the theme park, but they would canoe and they would fish and they would play different sports games. They would ride the train at the campground. Now, right off the bat, the campground was a very big hit, so much that Disney was expanding it and expanding it. So in 1976, they opened up River Country. River Country was located in the back of the Fort Wilderness campground. In order to get there, it was a little bit tricky because there wasn't a big parking lot like we're used to seeing at the theme parks. Instead, guests would park in front of the campground and they would take the transportation system at the time, the Fort Wilderness Railroad, around to get to River Country. This railroad was later replaced by buses as a cool story, but I will tell that at a different time. River Country is a lot smaller than the water parks we know of today. It had a few main areas. It had its front entrance, which didn't have any pools or anything, and had locker rooms and towel rentals, things like that. Then it had two main pools. There was the upstream plunge pool, which just had regular pool water. And then there was a sort of cove/watering hole that used filtered lake water. In these two pictures, you can really get an idea of the pool situation. This, obviously, the freshwater pool, and then up here is that filtered lake water pool. The Bay Cove area had a lot of water-style attractions, sort of like the training area at Blizzard Beach. A tire swing, one of the T-bar drops, rafts and things people could jump off of, and then its most famous double water slides here. There are a lot of photos of Goofy riding this. I think they're super iconic. The other pool had the two upstream plunge slides. Guests would go down them and have a small area where they would drop and fall into the water. Now, River Country proved to be very successful. But as the years went on, Walt Disney World changed kind of a lot. Instead of just the Magic Kingdom Park with a few resorts and canoeing and fishing, in the 1980s, Disney added Epcot. In 89, they added MGM. In the 90s and the early 2000s, they added Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon. Basically, there were a lot of things to do. River Country struggled to compete just due to its size. And in 2001, after 9/11, a massive drop in tourism, Disney closed the doors temporarily to River Country, saying that if there was enough demand, they would reopen it. But time passed and the former water park fell into disrepair. And that's just where we're getting started. Because the reasons this park really were abandoned are